Now, on the moment, the Berel is looking at the Berel Manik, the Kaalov Ruv, the Levade Uso, for Oise, V'yase, Nechol HaMaase. He created everything. He himself is doing everything. Everything what happens, he Levade Uso, made is Oise, V'yase, Nechol HaMaase. To understand, probably everyone learned the Gemara from Chanukah, from Sech Shabbos. The Gemara asked, after starts Tafkuf Kaalov, the Gemara from Chanukah, Kofse, the Sige of Kofse Zukigla, if you have to, relight the candle, if it went off, Kofse Zukigla. Afterwards, the Gemara says how's the mitzvah going? That's one candle for whole family. Mahadran, and a mahadran. If you want to make it nicer, more, it's one candle for everyone in the family. Mahadran and a mahadran you make every day, more and more. Afterwards, the Gemara asks, "My Chanukah, what's Chanukah?" And you learn the Gemara, it's interesting. You have a middle learning about Chanukah, almost a page you're learning from Chanukah, and then he starts to ask, "My Chanukah, what is Chanukah?" If you don't know what Chanukah is, then first you have to say what Chanukah, then you start about Chanukah. It's just to remind us that we know what when you do Chanukah, the Gemara wants to say you have to understand what Chanukah is. Just you can't come to Chanukah. It's not a question just what's Chanukah. When you come to Chanukah, Baruch wants from us, you should ask yourself the question: what's Chanukah? Lighting the candles and saying Al Nisa. When mine is out, there is that the mitzvahs of the have in the Torah. So it's that we have. If Gemeinde adds a mitzvah, it has to be a special reason why they add the mitzvah. What's this specialness? What happened for Klal Yisrael? What is teaching us this ness more than other nisim? What Klal Yisrael had since they became Klal Yisrael. There was so much tzuros for Klal Yisrael, and the Kishbar saved them afterwards, and didn't make a zeicher for this ness. What's Chanukah? Just two. Chanukah mit Pirim was two nisim, what we added afterwards to the Yom Tovim. What's the specialty from Chanukah? This is the question from my Chanukah. Everyone should ask himself, let me understand what's the great specialness, what happened to Chanukah, that because of this, Chazal told us we have to keep on every year, when it comes these days, and make a mitzvah, a whole matzah from the whole ness from the Chanukah. This is small, I heard once a small story, and I think in this small thing is the answer, what's Chanukah? It was by the Shoya, it was one of the big tzaddikim, a son from the Sons of Ruv, Shum Leze Veratzet. It was a son from the Sons of Ruv. Everyone heard about Sons of Ruv, I'm sure everyone heard about Sons of Ruv. One of the big Chassidish Rebbes. He had the son, and the Shoya was old, was over the 80s already, and he was burned in the Auschwitz, yes, in the I call it Auschwitz, yes, Auschwitz, yes. And before it was burned in the Auschwitz, was one of the guys there. As we know, it was the Hungarian people was just a couple of days, weeks, thousands, hundreds of thousands, went on Kiddush Hashem in on the gas, with the gas camera, I call it?
Gas chamber.
And one of the Jewish guys asked the son of the Sons of Ruv, was a very big tzaddik, and I asked him, there was such massive, what the Rebbeinu Shalom says to this. I mean to say, where's the Rebbeinu Shalom? How could it be? Where's the Rebbeinu Shalom? Gemara says, I know nitvis atzarai. We're not allowed to ask questions. But he was in this matzav. He asked a question. How could it be? Where is the Rebbeinu Shalom? It's not so much source for Klal Yisrael. Where is the Rebbeinu Shalom? He answered like this. He told him this. That the Shulam Lezer from Ratzvet he was. Shulam Lezer, Halbestam, the son of the sons of Ruv, was a rabbi in Ratzvet. He told them, you must stay alive. That's what he told them. Nobody could believe this. Almost everyone got himself also. You will stay alive, and you will see how the Yiddishkeit, the Torah, is getting rebuilt. Then you will understand where the Rebbeinu Shalom is. This is what he answered. I heard it from somebody who lives in, I think he's still alive, lives in England. And he told that he knew who was this guy who asked this, and he found out where he's living in Haifa. I think he said he was not now, years ago. I don't know if now it's probably not alive. And I went to, and he went. He's in Bnei Brak, not Haifa. Lived in Bnei Brak. Went down to his house. He came in and seen somebody was real religious, even a beard. Children was learning Torah. So we asked him, no, do you know now where the Rebbeinu Shalom is? Then for sure I know, I'm seeing now there's a Rebbeinu Shalom. What does this mean? What does this mean? To explain it more, to understand it. It says in the Parsha this week, Yosef HaTzadik, Vahi Ish Matzliach. He Ish Matzliach. Yosef was Asirem, he was in the prison. The prisons that time was not like here, even the prison was under the ground, all under the ground, no electricity, no water, nothing. Sitting there for 12 years. And it says in the Torah he was Matzliach, so successful. Can you imagine what this means? A guy is 12 years in the prison under the ground, and the Torah says, and not just a story, a book, the Torah Kedosha says on Yosef, Vahi Ish Matzliach. It says in the Medrash, Sefer Muvah Shumas brings from the Medrash, it says that Yosef HaTzadik Vahi Ish Kufetz. Yosef HaTzadik, every hardness he went through, he was mechazik himself and start to dance. Instead, to get upset and start to cry, what did he do? Start to dance, to be mesamach himself. And this brings him that he should feel that he's matzlich. As we know, everyone knows. Everyone goes through Hashem Yishma, everyone shouldn't be happy, but everyone has his times, what's good times, and his times it's hard for him. Everyone in his situation. This is as it's a world's word, then if everyone would put out on the table his hardness is going through, everyone took back his own. Nobody wants the others. Because everyone has his times. What's hard, special. It says in the Surah, more hard is. There's two kinds of hardness. There's hardness begashmis. The problems, everyone is children, parnasa, shidichem, health, everything, and more harder than this is, when somebody wants to be Noivet Hashem, that's to keep mitzvahs, Torah mitzvahs, wants to be an Eilich Yid, and it has hardness to be an Eilich Yid. Has nisyonos. It is much more harder than even in the Gashmis. Why? Because when it comes to Rochnis, he doesn't understand. When Shloim wants I should be an Eilich Yid, yes? Once I should keep Torah mitzvahs. And how could it be? It makes me so hard. So this question is what's in his heart he has, this made him very harder to take it on himself, to go through it, the whole hard part from this. So what happens? What happens when somebody has a heart? It's two ways. There's two ways for him. Or he starts to drop. It's too hard for me. The Yiddishkeit starts little by little. It starts to cool down. The other way there's another way, the opposite. When somebody feels harder, he starts to get closer to Hashem. Mom is the opposite. He starts to pray more to Hashem. And every question he has, he tells it to Hashem, he talks to Hashem. And this whole hard situation brings him much closer to Hashem. I read once was a story. It was a Jewish boy, but he was not Jewish, and all day he was for sure didn't go to learn Torah. He was coming from not from family, and once he was sitting down his habit was to sit near the river and to catch fish. Catch fish. And once when he was sitting there to fishing, it came a Jewish religious family came there to play with his kids, and suddenly one of the kids fell in the water. So it's a skunas nefushes. He knew how to swim. He danced in the water, and he catch the small kid, bring him up, and saved the life. The father from this small kid told him, was so happy, so thankful for him. So told him, as same, you saved the life for my small baby. Hashem, who created the whole world, He should help you when you will be if you will be once in a not good situation, He should help you. Sure. He didn't even understand what it means, what means Hashem. He never get taught about this, but here's this word finished. Sure. Years afterwards, he went once on a boat, on a ferry boat around and same thing, he was on the boat, he tried to fish in the middle of the sea, was fishing. He fished, one day came up a big huge fish, mega big fish, and we think what should I do with this big fish? But let me take it down I wanted to take it down to the bottom of the boat. It was the big freezer for the boat, for the eat there. And let me take it down to hold it there when I go out afterwards. I will take it with me home. So it was already late by when he was thinking this. It was already midnight when everyone went to sleep already. He didn't want the fish to too long out of the fridge, so he went down. He went down in the He came to the fridge. It was a big walking. I call it a big room. Walking freezer. Went in the freezer, took the whole huge fish, put it inside, and suddenly it got locked. The door closed. He was not able to open it from inside. So he started to knock on the door, Nobody hears. Nobody knocking, knock. So it was downstairs in the basement from the boat. Up, even though they were sleeping, even though we were awake, not normally wasn't be able to hear. So it goes like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it starts to get cold, and doesn't see any way out. And start to rain around, it should get warm. So another 20 minutes. And the end he sees, he starts to feel that's finished.
The end.
The end of his life. When he's holding by this matzav, he reminds himself that a few years ago, before, he heard from someone that Hashem, that you helped my son. And when he was in a bad situation, Hashem should help you. If you will be in a bad situation. So he reminded me this words, think Hashem could help. Let me pray to Hashem. Let me start to pray. It was the first time he started to pray to Hashem. And the minute he started to pray to Hashem, Hashem made the cook, who was the cook from those, his son, he wake up in the middle, it was already in bed, wake up, and it felt it can't sleep more. I was thinking, okay, let me go down and start to cook for tomorrow special food. Special, I have time, I can't sleep. So after cook, I have to go down to the freezer, take out some food. Comes out, opens the freezer, and sees he was already laying down, almost unconscious. And for sure, quickly called the ambulance with the helicopters, and they came, took him out, and took him to the hospital. When he waked up, he made them a connection to his parents on the phone, and the parents told him on the phone that I'm coming to you. Tell me what should I bring for you? What should I bring? What we should bring? He told Daddy, you have to bring nothing. One thing I need a siddur. I need a siddur. I want to start to pray to Hashem. This was the first time he started to get the connection to Hashem. And from then further, he started to put tefillin and start to learn. And then afterwards, was a richtige Yiddish, must get married to a Jewish girl, and it was built up a Yiddish house. What does this mean? That the matzav from what he was, his tzuras, his bad matzav, bring them closer to Hashem. The way Yosef HaTzadik was the same thing. He was in a very matzav, unbelievable. To be alone, far from his family, far from his house, a young guy from 17 years, 18 years old. And to be in Mitzrayim, to be in the prison, and Shebi Matzliach. Why? Because he understood. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing this. He has a reason to make us closer. He took the opposite way to think. Not the way to think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want my mitzvahs, doesn't need my Torah, doesn't need my Shabbos, doesn't need my tzedukah. So I start to cool down to the opposite. We see by Chanukah. Let me see by Chanukah. What was the Chanukah? What this says in the Chazal, what the Yevunim told for Klal Yisrael to do. What did they tell them to do? Everyone knows about. You should write on Kisvi lechem al keren ashar, ein lechem chaylik belekai yisur. How is it in English?
I don't know. Horn of they shouldn't have a chel.
She write down on the horn from the ox. That we have no connection. Ein lechem chaylik belekai yisur. What does this mean? What is just write down? The Yevunim was one of the cleverest for all the Goyim. Just write down. It didn't start by this. First of all, they started to make the major service for Klal Yisrael. To force them not to keep the Torah mitzvahs. Yes, that's what it says in Yisif, and there's they had to hide themselves to keep Shabbos. And they found them, they killed them. There's a lot of Jews get killed there. They tried to force all the way. You know about Russia, you know about Russia, all the times was the communists, and they tried to force to take away the Yiddishkeit. They, by the time from the Yevonim, could be more even than that. But what did they can be able to? As we know, there was just a few Yiddish Yidden, the Hashmonuim, the Kahanim, were staying strong. Most of the Yidden wasn't be able to stand strong to the Yiddishkeit. And afterwards, they came to the Yidden, tell them, what do you think? You think you have connection to Hashem and Hashem needs you? You see, look at it. You can't keep Shabbos, you can't keep Bris Milah, you can't do Chodesh and the other mitzvahs. So, what does this mean? This means that you have no connection to Hashem. That's what it is. Not just write down. They come with a taina. Yes? And the end, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they had that Mesiras Nefesh from the Cheshmonu, had the Mesiras Nefesh. And they start with the Melchuma. And was, how it says that, was 13 Bucharim, 13 boys, what have the whole Melchuma, and they win the Melchuma. And they've seen afterwards, it says in the Sforim, other Maral, and other Sforim, that even, it says about from Panovich Ruv, it's a major word, Panovich Ruv. It said, we say on a Nissim, on a Fluas, on a Chias, on a Nachumos, on a Melchumos. She sees it have a sign. There's the question, Nissim, we say Zemiras to Kadosh Baruch Hu for the Nissim, and the Fluas, when we say Zemiras ala Melchumos, that there was wars. What's they have to thank to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? It was a war. The Panahu said, that they had the strongness from the Cheshmonu to go against the Yevonim. This for themselves was the biggest ness. Kaalov was so many years then. Was thinking, how could it be? Where's HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How could it be this? Don't let the mitzvahs? So it brings the bigger views. It started in the Yomi. What happened? What made him? He came to the big Siyam, it was in the stadium. He was thinking about the Siyam, the huge people that was, thousands of people came to hear, to see him. Was thinking, I'm coming usually to a stadium, why? To play baseball. What's better for me, to come to a stadium to play baseball, or to come for Siyam, for Siyam Hashas? So he decided, he's stopping the baseball and started to learn. The Yevunim, what did they play? They play baseball. Yes, this is what they play. They try to give for the Klalis who say, I have no connection to Hashem. To play baseball. Have your Hanor, have your joy from this world. This world. What the Shah says in the Surah, Shah was the Shah Stadion. What Shah Stadion mean? How you say it?
A fighter ball.
Fighter ball. This was the enjoyment from the Yevonim. Said you have no enjoyment from Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need your Torah. You see, they don't let it. You can't eat Shabbos. So your own enjoyment is from this kind of enjoyment, baseball and something like this. When they changed, they understood that HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes all the hardness. Just he wants to see you Mesiras Nefesh. He wants to see how you take it, how you feel. This should make you closer to Hashem. Like Yosef HaTzadik, he was matzliach because he felt every hardness he had. He could be down under the ground 12 years. He's the most successful guy. Why? Because if it says in the Torah, Hashem imoy. Boy Hashem imoy, this says in the Torah. If you feel that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is together with you, he doesn't throw you away, Adrabah, he wants you to get closer to him. He's all time do it, then you feel successful. Nobody can come with all your narishkeiten from the Goyim and tell you things. This is what we teach us the Chanukah. When we light the candle, to understand, it says in the Svurim, you found the small Pach Hashem. It shows that every Yid has inside himself a small Pach Hashem. Sometimes you can't find it. He himself can't find it. But every Yid has inside himself, he has a Chaylik Elokayim Mal, the opposite from what Yevonim said. Ein lechem Chaylik Elokayim, because they know that every Yid, no different how he looks outside, no different what the matzav, even the rochni is what he has. He has a fire in his heart inside, but sometimes it's so hidden, you can't find it. They have to go afterwards. Vodka says that what they've tried to find it. So the Svurim says us. Now when it comes Chanukah, says in the Svurim, it's almost you can find it in the Chassidism special, the Chanukah they're talking about Berel. It says one of the Svurim, Koshens to Maggid sons. It says the same when we light the candle. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says in the Gemara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also doing the mitzvahs. That's also Mikayim the mitzvahs. The Gemara says the tefillin from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what says in the tefillin, that means HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the mitzvahs. How is HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mikayim the mitzvah from Chanukah? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is lighting the candles, what is inside every Yid. He lights this candle. Everyone has a candle, has Shemen is eyes inside. But it's closed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when you Mekayim the mitzvah for not lukas anayras, HaKadosh Baruch Hu lights your candle. He's also Mekayim the mitzvah. So there's the time where that your candle should start to light. The only thing is we have to believe in this. When we believe, we know it's right, we have to watch ourselves what we can do. Oh, don't watch. If somebody has a candle lighted, if he doesn't watch to open the door, the windows, what happens? Comes the wind and finish. You have to watch it. Make sure it's burning. You can make it bigger. You can make more lights come, more candles bring in. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is lighting your candle, for sure. This is a time, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Chanukah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is lighting all our candles. Our avodah is to make sure the candle should light bigger and bigger until next year. Chanukah should still, like the Ner Maruvi. What was the Ner Maruvi? Was lighting all the time. Yes, this was a simon that Kaalov Ruv close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This light, this is our avodah, and that's why this is starting for Chanukah. It says, and so more you put in the Chanukah themselves. You go to the Chanukah, the mitzvah. You say the daven, and you learn Torah in Chanukah. The Torah from Chanukah is more you're doing, more often, more avoid you put in Chanukah to be closer to Hashem, that the light the candle, more it stays for all the year. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help all of us. Should be zoiche. Our candles, when we go to light the candles, we should light our candles. Should be moise v'hoilach. More and more our candles for the Chavayrim, much for Adaran. It should light, and it should light means Barachnis for sure, but Begashmis also. To have to be able to do Rachnis, we have to have Gashmis. How could you do mitzvahs if we don't feel good? We have to problems around. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will add together. We see how we want to get closer to Him. He will give all of us to be gebenched with all goodness. Everyone needs his things. It's a time to be helped. Chanukah is a time for kibbutz tefillas. HaKadosh Baruch Hu hears all the tefillas, and it should be able to zoichazar. It says in the Svurim, it's achona. The main thing it says in the Svurim, it's achona. Rachtenayin Mashiach. Everything is achona. The whole Chanukah is achona. It's Chanukah. It's Chanukah. It's Chanoich. Chanoich. How you mechanech ourselves to the Or from Mashiach. That says in the Svurim. Should be zoichet to Mashiach tzidkayni b'mhayre v'yimayni. Amen.